In the blink of an eye, dozens of moves a week, Xiaoxie could hardly raise the fight. Fuck! He roared and poked out the dagger. No matter how fierce the enemy was, he would cut off his head on the spot, and he was desperate. Ha ha ha! The black scarf killer laughed wildly, and his prestige was like a mountain, not retreating, but advancing, dragging his hands with a blow. The little evil wow! Screamed and fell backwards again, and immediately his chest was reverent, his blood was churning, and blood was gushing out of the corners of his mouth. Lie down for the old man! The black scarf killer took advantage of the victory to pursue, and the speed of the shot was unbelievable, only to see him shoot the little evil, and vomit with both palms. Ah! In an instant, the illusion is beyond countless cold rays, waiting for the wind to blow. Its momentum is devastating, invincible, it is a potential area, and the jade is destroyed. Wow! The two sides touched, and the little evil flew out with a palm, and at that time he had cut off the black scarf killer's right arm alive. As soon as Xiaoxie fell to the ground, a mouthful of blood came out of his mouth, and his body swayed, as if he was drunk. The black scarf killer lost his right arm, and he was even more in pain, and the sweat on his forehead was continuous, and he endured the pain step by step towards the little evil, and like a demon, he was extremely shocked. Xiaoxie barely straightened his chest and clenched the dagger, and the corners of his mouth smiled, ready to accept another major blow. At this time, he had forgotten how the injury was, and he was bent on bringing down the black scarf killer, and then he was willing. He fought out. He just couldn't hold this breath. This breath can be stacked by anyone. It's a breath that no one can learn. The black scarf killer could still laugh when he saw that Xiaoxie was still laughing, seeing that his right arm had been lost, and his skills had been greatly reduced and he was unable to fight again, and this kid was slapped several times in a row, and he became more and more courageous. It is unstoppable, and if you drag it down this time, you will suffer a loss. After hesitating for a long time, he finally sighed and reflexively swept away. Seeing that the strong enemy had retreated, Xiaoxie sighed, his mood suddenly relaxed, the corners of his mouth oozed blood, and his cuffs were wiped out. He smiled and said, "Damn, this ghost old man's shot is extremely heavy, and I vomited a lot of blood. Compared to the old man, this should be regarded as a third-class internal injury. It will take 10 days to recover, and it is good to get back an arm, otherwise it will be enough to lose money." Looking at his belt, he had already taken out the old man's pills and ate 10 pills in one go. The old man said that if there is an injury, it should be treated immediately, and I have to find a place for him. It seems that I fell for the old man's tricks. He arrested me, and I was clearly destined to go to the rivers and lakes, but the food in the rivers and lakes was not delicious, and people wanted my life all the time. After resting for a while, Xiaoxie looked around, found a small cave, and began to heal. First of all, he pierced the acupuncture points all over his body with gold needles, then took out gold ointment to smear the wound, and found some stones to seal the entrance of the cave. He thought, "I am injured now, if someone breaks in and gives me such a knife again, it will take half a life if I don't die, and it is more stable to seal the entrance of the cave." To reduce the damage, Xiaoxie has always done this, which is one of the reasons why he will live for a long time. The entrance of the cave was sealed, and Xiaoxie took 2 more pills. He was really stumped by the old man's words. If you have an injury, you have to treat it immediately. He has never been so seriously injured, and he doesn't know how much medicine is needed. Anyway, it is always wrong to eat a little more." As soon as he swallowed the pill, he immediately picked up 2 stones to pad his head and feet, and even used his magic to heal his wounds. On the first day of the week, the blood stasis on the little evil body has slowly turned into a liquid and runs with the blood. On the second day of the exercise, I could already see some light red mist coming out of the acupoints on the chest of the little evil, which was the blood stasis turned into gas and discharged from the acupoints, and the mist became more and more abundant, and soon the little evil was all over the body. 12 weeks a week, the murmur slowly disappeared. Xiaoxie had woken up at this time, but he didn't get up. He had already poked out 3 more golden needles, twisted his body, put his posture well, and then one pierced into the Tiantuo cup ointment. The second one was inserted into the Shenting A cup ointment in the center of the eyebrows, and before the end of the third branch, he looked around the prison week again, because the third branch was about to be inserted into the Beihui A cup ointment, and he would be unconscious immediately, and Xiao Yat wanted to use this to catalyze the pill he was taking, so as to recover as soon as possible. He was an acute ghost, and he had to heal his injuries before he was willing. Everything was not in much danger. He pinched the golden needle just right, and with a shake of his hand, it had been inserted into the Beihui cup ointment 3 inches deep, and it would take about 3 or 4 days to force the golden needle out of the Beihui cup ointment. At this time, if someone comes in and points lightly, the little evil will immediately cry out. Not only is he not afraid of death, but he also likes to joke with life. Time flies, keeps disappearing. 1 day and 2 days. I saw that the golden needle of the Beihui cup ointment of the 100 meetings of the little evil every week went straight back until noon on the 3rd day. The golden needle suddenly fell to the ground, and the little evil slowly woke up from the coma. He first removed the gold needles on his body, and then checked the injuries. Sure enough, his whole body was red. Those palm prints had disappeared, and the knife wounds were also scarred. He was lucky, he felt energetic, and his internal injuries were already 90%. I didn't expect the old man's pill to work, haha. A long laugh, he was like a madman, dancing his hands, rushing out of the hole. Bang, the gravel flew, the little evil flew out of the hole, like a wild dragon out of the sea. Teeth and claws, its momentum was full of strength. Ah! A long howl has thrown Xiaoxie's whole body depressed to Juxiao, and he has returned his hearty heart. He ran to the place of the fight. As soon as he reached the ground, he inspected it and said with satisfaction, "They really sent someone to find me again, so I won't be so stupid." He chuckled a few times, and flew down the mountain, disappearing into the dense forest.